Yes, guys, welcome back to ShootOut. The Premier League this season is absolutely redonkulous. You've got Arsenal, who are currently top of the Premier League. You've got Aston Villa and Man City, who are chasing them down. We've already spoken Premier League roundup. Are Arsenal crumbling? Let us know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. But we're going to let them just chill up there for a little while today, because I want to talk to Eunice specifically about this race for the top four, because you want Sham. We'll give it you. At the moment, that's exactly what's happening in the Premier League, because everybody's beating everybody, and I don't know who wants it. And I want you to tell me, is there anybody that actually wants it? Apart from Arsenal, City and Villa, who are the three best teams right now, who wants to get in the Champions League?
There's one team that sticks out for me 100%, and it's got to be Wolves.
We were relying on you to come in the studio today. I was so excited. I was like, God, if Man United get beaten by Wolves, this is going to be one hell of a video. But instead, we've got to include Man United in the, do you want some? They might. They might want it.
But, I mean, look, anyone that plays against Wolves is basically void.
I did bring a wolf costume, but I went orange with the light today just to say goodbye to Wolves.
In tribute of Wolves.
Mate, honestly,
we are paying our respects to Wolves at this point.
This is, as much as we say this is a chaotic Premier League season, there's up and downs everywhere. I'm looking across the board. We got W's and L's and D's scattered around everywhere, to be quite honest with you.
Except for Wolves, where it's just L's.
Yeah.
And L's beyond L's with nothing else but L's. That could have gone into a mad rhyme now or something.
If Wolves stay up in the Premier League now this season, I will wear a curly wig for the whole of next season.
A curly wig?
Yeah. Like a David Luiz style, long hair. Like, it'll just become like a new shootout thing.
I'll grow mine out again, and you wear that, and then we'll rock up as the Jackson 2.
The Jackson 2, the Nicholas
Not the
Jackson 2.
5.
Absolutely. No,
But
Wolves are down. Burnley are down.
Absolute mess.
The top four race is the one that excites me the most. From an entertainment perspective, it's concerning, really, because I think Chelsea, they're very much probably at forefront of this conversation, really, about who wants it. Because we're inconsistent. Crystal Palace are currently fourth in the Premier League. I would say Palace have not been as good as I thought they might be. But the fact they find themselves fourth is fantastic. They'll be delighted with that. I want to start with them specifically, because this season for me, for Crystal Palace, is very much this is probably the last chance that they will have with the playing personnel that they've got, and probably Glasner as well, to make a serious push. I think if Glasner goes, which I believe he will, because I think he's too good of a manager to not get a big job, I think then they will have a transition again. Mark Gurrey's not signing a new contract, apparently, and he's a quality centre-half who's winning points for Crystal Palace right now. So I think this is their opportunity. Do you think they can actually finish in the top four?
No.
No.
Mathematically, yes. I mean, like, the Premier League table right now is so bonkers that you can't possibly come to a conclusion right now. And if you do, you're just trying to make a prediction. It's not based on anything, right?
Yeah.
It can change. Like, anything can realistically happen. But when we talk logically, right, just logic in terms of where we actually think it's going to go and what teams are in the mix.
So logical predictions, basically.
Surely you don't expect Palace to end up in the top four. They can.
They've only lost 3 games all year.
I mean, look, this is the thing. The Premier League table right now is so messed up. And I'll tell you why. Because out of 15 games played, and a possible 45 points to have got, maximum, right? At this point in the season, top of the league, who are Arsenal, who have been praised for having a fantastic season so far, are on 33. And they're the ones that are meant to be running away with it. Now, that's not anything against Arsenal, because technically they've actually had a very good season so far. But when you look at everyone that's below them, and they're not far off, to have lost as many games as they've lost up until this point, it just shows everyone's beaten everyone. When you look at it, City are in second. They've already lost 4 games, you know? And then everyone below that has maybe lost, Aston Villa have lost 3, but everyone below that have either lost 5 or 4. Except for Everton, but they've drawn like basically nearly every game. It's just everyone's picking up points from everybody, and now we're nearly halfway through the season, and you can split a good part of the top 4 with 15th, right, and be only literally 6-7 points behind. It's crazy right now.
It's a bit like the Championship. You know how the Championship is one of those leagues where you can be 21st one week and then you go on a 3-game winning run and you're about to enter the playoffs.
Exactly.
It feels a bit like that, to be honest. But I think the reason for that is because you've got big teams who are not performing like big teams.
Everyone's inconsistent.
Yes. And that's why we've got to break this down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you look in the middle, you've got 10th Liverpool, 11th Tottenham, 12th Newcastle. 3 teams that are in the Champions League this season, all in the bottom half of the table, effectively. Liverpool 10th, so we can call that what we will. But Chelsea and Manchester United, and you mentioned there about Arsenal having 33 out of 45 points. Man United, I feel, are always one result away from us talking about Ruben Amorim. About us, I mean, Man United fans, you know, we both watch Saeed TV.
Yep.
He's not very happy with Ruben Amorim on the whole.
No.
Because, again, inconsistencies. I think United will be looking at this as an opportunity here because they're level on points with Chelsea, which, you know, I don't want to... I'd rather be annoyed at Chelsea because of what Chelsea are doing, not because of how other teams are close to us. I think you've got to look at yourselves in a season like this and only look at your own games, your own results. How do we go on a run now? I don't care what Man United are doing. But the fact that they are only 8 points off of Arsenal, and we're talking about Man United having another really poor season, supposedly, shows you just how mental this really is.
Mate, it's crazy. When you look, okay, Liverpool have been catastrophic, right?
By their standards, yeah, but
Everyone
they're still 2 points off of fifth.
Everyone agree? Well, three behind fourth.
Mental.
Mate, they're 3 points off the top 4.
Tottenham
And Newcastle, 11th and 12th, literally 1 point behind Liverpool, have been very poor as well. By their standards, too, to an extent. Not as bad as Liverpool when you're talking defending champions. They're literally 4 points off of top 4.
So I've got a question for you, because this is a big one. And this kind of ties into what we've talked about in the Champions League stuff, which there'll be a Champions League roundup on Thursday. But we've said on this show this year that La Liga's not what it was. Real Madrid, Barcelona don't look like the sides that they once were. That might be proven again this week if Man City go and do a number over Real Madrid. Bayern Munich obviously look great as well, but again, they don't have too much competition there. Yep. Same as PSG. Is this a sign that the Premier League is just too good, or is this a weakness that the big teams are not doing very well and performing? Do you think it's good for the Premier League that it's like this, or not, in terms of what the quality is?
I think we're getting a bit of both worlds. I'll explain. I think the quality of the top teams has dropped. But I think the quality in the Premier League has gone up. So all the other teams that are normally just dross, right, are improving. And they've leveled up. Palace is an example, you know. When we're looking at teams that are competing and they're in that mix, I mean, Aston Villa are cementing themselves now as a legit side, you know.
They deserve so much praise, man, because they were literally in the Championship about 10 years ago.
Where we are, you know, and that was a shock in and of itself. But the transformation they've had in the last 2-3 years, specifically, especially under Unai Emery, has been fantastic. And then you've got teams like Brighton, you know, Sunderland causing a little bit of a shock, and they came straight up. Great acquisition in the summer, have set a bit of a standard for themselves, and they've been playing really, really well. Even some of the managers in that mid-table area are considered decent managers. You know, we look at what Brighton are doing with their entire outlook on things and how they function. But it's allowing them to enable quality football being played to an extent. When you look at the Premier League as a whole, this is what makes the Premier League special. Anyone can beat anyone. You know, this is why we did entertain the possibility, ridiculously, of Wolves possibly doing something against United. Because you just never know. It's the Premier League. In La Liga, you don't get, you know, flipping... I don't even say Getafe. I want to go lower, you know?
Rayo Valladolid.
Las Palmas. Or you never know. Going off to the Bernabeu and winning 3-0.
Although Celta Vigo did do them.
Celta Vigo, although if you see what happened in that game, what the hell? I mean,
Wow.
Yellow card, red card, yellow card, red card. Endrick comes like off, not even playing, gets sent off. 3 red card, chaos. And they've got their own problems. But you don't get that same level of competition in La Liga. Real Madrid and Barcelona this season, Real Madrid, you could say mainly. Barcelona, all right. Real Madrid have been poor. But they will always be at least second.
Yeah.
If you're poor in the Premier League, quote unquote, Liverpool, where are they? They're not second, they're 10th. Do you know what I mean?
And this is the history of the Premier League. We've seen this with Chelsea in the past, where we've had absolute stinkers. Off the back of being champions too, may I add.
Yep. And the little bit of instability that creeps into your club can affect your entire season. That season, we had one internal problem that wasn't even on the pitch. It was an internal problem off the pitch with the doctor and Mourinho and all that we remember. That affected everything.
Good old Swansea at home, opening day of the season.
Yep.
Love that.
That affected everything. It destroyed everything, you know? And everyone's there to pick up the pieces. In other leagues, there's no one really there to pick up the pieces. They'll try, they're just not good enough.
So when I look down there then, let's focus on those 3 that are currently severely underperforming. Liverpool, Tottenham, Newcastle. I look at that and I wonder who the best equipped is to actually make their way up the table. Because I would have said, and I've caught myself doing this every week, and you've been the opposite. You've predicted a Liverpool loss for about 5 prediction videos in a row, which is not a bad shout from you whatsoever.
Thank you very much.
And your results for the season are reflecting in that right now. But when I think about that Liverpool squad, surely, and maybe now it's actually untenable because of the whole Mo Salah situation, which has obviously caused slight uproar there on Merseyside. But surely that Liverpool squad should be good enough in a season like this where nobody's really grabbing the ball by the horns and they could just go on a run. Or what about Tottenham? Because, you know, one week they look absolutely awful. By all accounts, Thomas Frank gets a lot of respect as being a good manager.
Yeah.
Surely they could go on a run. Newcastle, I think, have been pretty good at times this season. They're 10 points from their last 4. But, like, I just feel like nobody wants it. And I feel like whenever I really say that, it always comes back to Chelsea. Because we would have sat here 10 days ago and said Chelsea are in the title race. Nope. Hold my beer. We ain't in the title race.
Yeah. The thing is, we've gone down a little bit of a different route compared to some of these teams. Like, okay, face value, Liverpool, probably the best squad in the league. One of. I'd say Arsenal the best.
Arsenal
squad.
the best.
But on paper, you go, bloody hell, right? And struggling. But again, they've got problems internally that we've just referenced to. But when you look at Tottenham and Newcastle, for different reasons, Tottenham, again, on paper, with the signings they made in the summer, they've got a really good team. Really good team. In fact, I actually think they've got really good balance. But we turn to Thomas Frank and we turn to,
The history of the Tottenham?
The culture. I think the culture at the club is also something that affects players. Even if they do come in, they get taken down a notch. I just think that's how it's functioning at Tottenham. But they should be doing better than what they're doing right now, without a doubt. Newcastle shouldn't be 12. Newcastle should be fighting for top 4, realistically. And they show games where they prove that they can operate at that level, but then there's games where they just fall off. But you're right, it's exactly that. It's the inconsistency. There's teams that it just looks like on given days, they just don't want it. And Chelsea, for example, are a team where I don't think people expect a lot at the beginning, and then there's games that they go, oh my God, no, these lot can actually possibly be anybody in the world. And then we fall off against a random, Leeds. Bournemouth. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're right. In terms of who really wants it, I'll even go as far as saying right now, in terms of really wanting it, Man City haven't even shown enough in terms of really wanting it. Arsenal have up until this point, but like I've said, and this is the history of the Premier League, they're going to have their moment this season where they're going to take a couple of hits.
I mean, they've only won 2 of their last 5. I'd say that isn't. It's not title winning form.
Is it beginning? But then again, no one's there to pick up the pieces. Realistically,
this is why this video was makes sense for the middle of the week, really, because I'm looking and thinking now it's got to be about stability, isn't it? Because Everton, for example, they're riding a wave of optimism right now. Brand new stadium, and in the long run, that's going to really help them. They've got a great team, man. Undai, Grealish has had a good season. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is a fantastic player. Like, I think Everton are a dark horse in this conversation because they've won 4 out of their last 5 games. They keep clean sheets. They're difficult to break down, difficult to beat. I mean, I'm not going to say my prediction now because that'll be Friday, but I would not be surprised if Everton got a result at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. I think they're a serious contender.
They are, with Everton, it's weird. It's weird because, they're playing really well. But I just deep down, and let us know what you think in the comments, I don't think they'll keep it up. Like, right now, they're going through a period where, yes, they've increased, they've set the bar. And they're getting a lot of gelling in the team going on now. It looks like they're getting into a rhythm. But I genuinely think they're going to drop off again. And then they might pick themselves up, but they're going to hit that point where they start, maybe they lose 2 or 3 on the bounce. I just think that's inevitable for a team like Everton in the season. And look, this December period is going to define everything. Normally, December is where chaos happens anyway.
It's already started, to be fair.
And no, we've had chaos happen before December.
Facts.
And now we're going to get into the chaos where it's going to get even crazier. So I'm telling you, this December period where there's games thick and fast and teams are worrying about injuries, teams are getting injuries, teams are looking at the table, they're up and then next week they're completely down and they're back up again and it's just going to be carnage. Add the element of what's already happened, which is not normally what goes down. Normally we get to a certain rhythm right now and it's fairly calm, and then December kicks off and it starts getting crazy. Well, we've already had a lot of crazy, and now this December is going to get even more mental. So expect a flipping tsunami at this rate.
So we're not going to do predictions, but we will try and outline thoughts. Do you agree that Arsenal and Man City will be both top 4 teams this season?
100%.
So that leaves 2 spaces with the potential as well, depending on the European coefficient rankings, which England probably will get 5th, maybe for Champions League again, most likely based on what we're seeing in the Champions League.
Most likely. It's hard.
Yeah, but
hard not to.
Let's narrow it to 4, just because.
Just for the sake of top 4.
Just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I think Aston Villa are almost nailed on,
Right now, yes.
Like the way they're playing, and I talk about stability and inconsistency, they don't enter that conversation. You can forget the start of the season now. It happens. Teams can have very slow starts of the season. Aston Villa did, but it's the response. It's how do you deal with that? Okay, right, we're not going to let this go into a big slump. I remember we sat here in these very chairs and we were saying, where could Emery go? Do you know what I mean?
Mental, isn't it?
The way the Premier League
There we
is.
are. That just explains everything.
And
now he's one of the best managers in the league.
I think Villa will get it because I don't think they've hit their best. I think they've got another gear. I really do.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. And right now, when you look at the Premier League table, Arsenal City, you expect, normally you'd expect Liverpool and Chelsea, right? As that cements the top 4. Liverpool will not make top 4 this season. I don't think. Unless, and I will say this, I believe they have to make a change as soon as possible.
For Slot?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really aren't his biggest fan, are you?
No, I like him. He just doesn't fit Liverpool.
I think he'd be a good geezer to go to the pub with. Dutch people in general are just
100%.
really good fun.
100%. Yeah, very, very nice people.
To be fair.
In that case, even Erik ten Hag would be great.
Yeah, for about 8 minutes. Send him to the bathroom, but send him the opposite direction. You know what I mean?
No, Slot. I think now he's having to set his own way. It's not working. I genuinely think he's lost the dressing room. Or a good portion of it, anyway.
Yeah.
But this is where, if Liverpool make a change, now it depends on who comes in. I'll be honest, if they go and get Steven Gerrard to the end of the season, it's a write-off. I don't expect anything.
Do you want to know something really funny? That Liverpool fans are saying they could do a Chelsea. fire the gaffer in the middle of the season, and then they could go and win a Champions League.
Oh, relax, lads. And honestly, I appreciate that sentiment and that thinking because we were bosses at doing that. But I don't believe that's something that you can do now, today.
No. I think Chelsea will get the top four.
Football's changed. Football is still changing. You know, a team that can possibly do that, I think, is Real Madrid. If they sack Xabi Alonso, for example, and they get Zidane to the end of the season, at that point, I'm sorry, they're favourites.
They've got the personnel.
Yeah, they just do. But Liverpool right now, no, you're going to need a bit of a magician to come in and win the Champions League. But you can get someone in that will be able to steer the ship and try and get the objective of Champions League football whilst it's looking a little grim.
I'm going to say Chelsea are going to get it then.
Chelsea, I think, will make top four. I do think we'll make top four. Because when you look at everyone else, I think everyone's even more inconsistent than us, around us, except Villa. Villa are the one team that have broken themselves into this conversation. Palace, 100% doing really well, but I do think they'll maybe get a Europa League spot. And then everyone else that's around, United, Everton, Brighton, Sunderland. Look, listen to the names I'm mentioning. They're not going to get Champions League, surely.
I can't sit here with any confidence and say I believe that they will.
No.
Those teams you mentioned.
This is why Aston Villa getting top four is a very likely scenario.
Chelsea have got to beat Everton this weekend, boys, because if Everton beat Chelsea, blimey, then we're going to look like fools, aren't we?
Oh, no, there's a problem at that point. I did say this... my preview into the Atalanta game, because I do think we'll win in Atalanta. And this is also another thing, talking about the Premier League and the level, we are superior compared to other leagues. Now, whether people like to hear that or not, it's the truth, right? We can have a stinker in the league, go off to Europe, win 3-0, make ourselves look good, come back and lose to Burnley. That's just how it is, you know what I mean? But I say that not just in terms of trying to make ourselves, we're number one. No, physically, we are superior compared to all these other places because they don't play at the same intensity and tempo in their own domestic leagues as we do in the Premier League week in, week out. That's the number one thing here. So it always seems like you can come down a gear playing in Europe at this stage, not in the knockout stages because you're playing quality at that point.
Yes.
But that is why I feel like this is going to be a very, very, very tight, especially December. And especially those teams that are playing in Europe. That's another factor to consider. Because the schedule's packed.
Yeah, Villa have got Europa League football too.
Yep.
Somebody's going to have to come out of the darkness. And we've said throughout this video, who wants it? And that is a question that right now we can only speculate, we can only guess, we can only predict. And let us know in the comments down below who you think is actually going to get it. Because as we've said throughout this video, there are so many teams right now that you could think, well, maybe they might do it. But then... you remember it's the history of.
Well, I want to add one spanner in the works before we wrap up.
Throw the spanner.
Will Arsenal stay top?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the squad quality is too good.
But there are people that reckon that now Arsenal might hit a dip.
I think they'll hit a dip, but I think.
Will City be there to pick up the pieces, for example? I mean, when you look at things now, or even Villa. Villa are 3 points behind them now with all games played. City are 2 points behind Arsenal. It can all change now.
I'm genuinely not as convinced as I was a couple of weeks ago that Arsenal will win the league, but I think they'll win the league.
Yeah, if you had to choose one, you'd say Arsenal.
Yeah. And I've said that from before the ball was kicked, when we did the prediction update, and still now. I still think Arsenal win the Prem.
You see, realistically, how it used to be properly, right? At this point in the season, let's say Arsenal are top. Okay, City are right behind them. Chelsea are literally 4 points behind them. Liverpool are tied there as well. United are maybe 5 points behind. And it's all like, okay, the title race is fully open. We can't call it. We're not even there. Like right now, people come to the conclusion, yeah, Arsenal are going to win the league. And now, because of 1-2 poor results, it's like, what if? Do you know what I mean? So far, we love this game and we love this season. It's been carnage and there's more to come.
Let us know in the chat. See you in a bit.